If you're a busy guy in your 30s to 40s who's tried to lose weight and it keeps just not working, I want you to stay with me for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to explain something that nobody in the industry wants to say out loud. It's not your fault. I know that sounds like something a coach says to make you feel better before they sell you something, so let me prove it. I want you to think about the last time you tried losing weight. Like really tried. Did you eat less? Probably. Did you try to move more? Most likely. Did it work for a bit and then fall apart the moment life got in the way? That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And I've seen it in hundreds of men that are smart, successful, and genuinely motivated, and still can't make it stick. There's a reason for that. And once I explain it, the whole thing starts to make sense. Let me describe your week. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Monday, you're good. You've decided this is the week. You eat a decent breakfast, you're mindful at lunch, you feel like you're actually doing it this time. Tuesday, there's a work dinner that you didn't plan for. You make the best call you can, but it's not what you would have chosen. You tell yourself it's fine, it's just one meal, it doesn't matter. Wednesday, you do traveling or back-to-back meetings. You skip lunch. By 4 p.m., you're running off of coffee. And by dinner, you're eating whatever's in front of you because you haven't had a real meal since breakfast. Thursday, you feel behind. The week didn't go the way that you wanted. So you tell yourself you're gonna reset on the weekend. And then Friday, someone brings food into the office. You're exhausted and you eat it and you figure the week is already compromised. Saturday, you order a takeout because you feel like you've earned it. Sunday, you feel guilty and you decide that Monday is the fresh start. And then Monday comes and it starts again. I'm not describing a lack of discipline. I'm describing a schedule that wasn't accounted for. You're not failing the diet. The diet wasn't built for the week you actually have. And here's the thing that nobody tells you. The diet that you tried, whether it was keto or calorie counting, intermittent fasting, whatever it was designed for a controlled environment by someone testing it on people that had the time to follow it properly. It assumed that you had free evenings to cook. It assumed that your lunches were also predictable. It assumed that when things came up, you could work around it without the whole thing collapsing. When did you last have a week like that? Exactly. So you keep trying, you try harder, you buy a new program, you download another app, you tell yourself this time I'll be more disciplined. And it works until it doesn't again. I want to tell you something, and I need you to actually hear it. The problem isn't you. The problem is nobody actually built a plan around the week you actually have. That's what this video is about, and that's what I'm going to change for you. I want to talk about the fitness industry for a minute because I think it owes the busy guys an apology. The industry is built around a specific customer. Young, free time, motivated by aesthetics, and no real competing demands on their schedule. The gym content, the meal plan, the transformation program, almost all of it is designed with that person in mind. But that's not you. You're in your 30s or 40s. You've got a career that demands real focus. You've got a family or a relationship or a social life that matters to you. You've got travels, you've got dinners, and weeks that go sideways for reasons that have nothing to do with you. And yet the advice that you've been given treats you like you have the same life as a 24-year-old with nothing else going on. Here's what the industry doesn't tell you. Meal plans fail busy people because meal plans predict a simple, predictable week. Calorie counting fails busy people because the moment when one session gets missed, the structure collapses and the whole thing feels ruined. None of this is your fault. You were given the wrong tools for the job you actually have. And there's one more thing I want to name because I think it's the most damaging part of all. Every time one of these plans fail, and it will fail because it was designed for someone else, you walk away believing a little bit more strongly that it was your fault, that the problem is you, that you don't have the discipline, that you're not the kind of person who can do this, that maybe the weight is just part of your life now. That belief is the real damage, not the failed diet, the story that you started telling yourself about what it means. And I want to dismantle that story today because it isn't true. Let me show you what actually works for someone with your life. Here's the shift I want you to make. Stop thinking about losing weight is something you need more discipline to achieve. Start thinking about it as an engineering problem. Your week has a shape. It has regular patterns, the meetings that always run over, the days you travel, the evenings that you're too tired to cook, the social commitments that show up, whether you plan for them or not. Most diets ignore that shape entirely. They hand you that diet and tell you to work your life around it. What actually works is the opposite. You build the plan around the shape of your life. That means instead of a rigid meal plan, you have a handful of decisions where you can make anywhere. At a hotel breakfast, at a restaurant, at a service station at 8 p.m. when you haven't eaten since lunch. Instead of tracking every calorie, you have 1 to 2 rules simple enough to follow without thinking, even on your worst day. Instead of relying on motivation that disappears, by week 3, you have a structure that holds itself when the motivation disappears. And instead of figuring all this out yourself, which is what's been failing, you have someone that knows your week, watches for the moments where it starts going wrong, and adjusts the plan before a hard week turns into a write-off month. That's the different approach. Not a new diet, not a stricter version of what you've already tried, a framework built around you specifically, and someone holding it together with you. I want to show you what that actually looks like in practice. But first, I want to tell you about the guys I work with, because they were exactly where you are right now. Let me tell you about a few guys I've worked with. The first one, I'll call him James. Came to me about a year ago, sales director, traveling 3 weeks out of the 4, eating at client dinners constantly, rarely cooking at home. He tried keto twice, lost weight both times, gained it back both times when life got busier. When he came to me, he said something that I hear a lot. I know what to do, I just can't seem to do it when things get hard. We didn't overhaul his life. We built 3 decisions that he could make anywhere. What to order at a restaurant, what to eat when he was traveling, and 1 rule for evenings when he's at home. That's it. 8 weeks later, he was down 13 pounds. Still traveling, still at client dinners. The weight came off because the plan finally fit his life. The second guy, late 30s, runs his own business, travels a lot. He had gotten to a good point, but he didn't know what else to do because he still wanted to lose like 20 to 30 pounds. And he wasn't making any progress anymore. When he came to me, started small, got him into a body recomp, and then we started making those rules of what to cut out because he did care about like his health and everything like that in general, as well as the decisions when he's traveling and when he's at home. The same 3 rules, just differently inputted for his specific lifestyle. And in the end, we got him down a bunch of weight and we built up a good amount of muscle. So he's very happy where he's at. I tell you these stories not to impress you with the numbers. I tell them because both of these guys thought that they were the exception, that their life was too complicated, too busy, too unpredictable for this to work. They weren't the exception, they were the rule, and so are you. I've been coaching nutrition for years. I work specifically with men in demanding careers, guys whose weeks don't look like anything like the guys in the fitness videos they've been watching. I don't always give meal plans to them. I don't always count macros with you. I don't ask you to overhaul your life. Because at the end of the day, whatever the meal plan or decisions that we make with the nutrition, it has to fit in your lifestyle, your career, around your life for it to actually work. I build a framework around the life you actually have, and I stay in it with you so it doesn't fall apart when things get hard. That's it. That's what I do. Let me show you what this actually looks like week to week. Because I think one of the things that stops people reaching out is that they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So here's exactly how it works. Week 1, I learn your week. Not the week you wish you had, the week you actually have. Your schedule, your patterns, the meals you rely on, the places you always fall off. I ask questions that most coaches never think to ask. What does a work trip look like for you? What's your dinner situation? What time of the day do you make your worst decisions? From that, I build your framework. Like I said, not always a meal plan, especially for busy guys. A set of decisions small enough to be automatic, flexible enough to survive a bad week. Every week after that, a check-in. You send me a quick update. We hop on a video chat to go over your progress and any questions that you've had, like how your week went, what came up, one win, one thing that felt hard. Takes us 10 to 20 minutes, making sure that you're on the right path. I look at that and then I adjust based off of that information, as well as the weigh-ins that we do every week, as well as the progress photos. I like doing progress photos with my clients. The more data I'm able to look at, the more I'm able to make sure that we're on a solid path to seeing good results towards your goal. And then maybe a work trip is coming up and we need a travel strategy. Maybe a stressful month means we pull back the expectations slightly and protect the habits that matter the most. Maybe things are going great and we add one more lever. The plan evolves, you don't start over. That's the part that changes everything. There's no falling off and starting again. There's just this week's version of the plan, and someone that makes sure it still works for this week's plan. What I'm not going to do, I'm not gonna give you a rigid meal plan that only works in a perfect week. That doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna track your macros to the gram. I'm not going to ask you to overhaul your lifestyle or tell you to give up the things that make your life enjoyable. What you will do, lose the weight, keep it off, and at some point stop thinking of yourself as someone that struggles with this, because you won't be struggling anymore. The last part is the one I'm most proud of with the guys that I work with. Not the number on the scale, the shift in how they think about themselves. I'm someone who can't do this, to this is just how I eat now. That's the goal, and it's more achievable than you think. If you've made it this far, I wanna say something to you. Most people won't watch a 12-minute video about nutrition. The fact that you did tells me something about where you are, that this is something you actually want to sort out, not that you just want to think about. So let me tell you what happens next. And I'll give you two options depending on where you're at. Option one, you're not quite ready yet. That's completely fine. What I'd ask you to do is to follow me on Instagram. The link is in my description. I'm at Jim_Hunter36. Post every day. Real, practical nutritional advice for busy guys. No fluff, no generic tips, just the stuff that actually moves the needle for someone with your schedule. Follow me, watch for a while, and when it feels right, you'll know. Option two, you're actually ready to figure out what's been missing. Send me a DM on Instagram with the word coach. I'll reply personally. I'll ask you a few questions about your schedule and where things always fall apart. And I'll tell you honestly, based on what you tell me, what I think has been getting in the way. No sales call, no pitch, no obligations, just a real conversation with someone who's actually helped a lot of guys who were exactly where you are. I keep my client list small on purpose. I want to actually know the guys I work with. So spots are limited, not as a sales tactic, just as a fact. If this video resonated, don't sit on it. The version of you that's been frustrated with this for the last few years is tired of waiting, and you don't have to wait any longer. Follow me on Instagram or DM me coach right now. I'll see you guys over there.